Thanks, Violetta. I hope you guys can see my screen. Well, first, just to introduce myself, my name is Ali. I'm part of the Generative AI Black Belt team, and alongside Matthias as well. We'll be giving you guys a bit of an overview of the new tool calling feature in the AI Agents platform. And to start off, I'll be going over just briefly what the agenda will look like for this session. I'll give you guys a quick walkthrough of what the AI agents actually are and what it looks like. Just a quick overview. I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but just to sort of recap. And then I'll be going into the tools available for the OCI AI agents platform, give you a quick overview, and then dive in a bit deeper into the SQL tool, RAG tool, API tool, and function calling tool. And then, of course, most importantly, I'll be handing over at the end to Matthias, who's going to walk you guys through the demo and show you what this actually would look like in your own chatbot or in your own workflow. And we'll take it from there. And please, if you have any questions, just send them over into the Q&A. So what are AI agents? As I'm sure most of you guys know, the AI agent platform, or agents in general, are an LLM-based application. So the way they work is they sort of mimic how we humans digest information and answer questions, right? So it's more than just a chatbot. You're mimicking that human-like reasoning. So it follows a chain of thought. It's able to take in different pieces of information and combine the knowledge that you have to give you the best possible answers, right? So with AI agents, you are able to incorporate a variety of different elements. So you have your knowledge, you have your prompts, you have your tools, you have the memory, and these are all different components that help you get the best possible answer from your LLM. And you're able to not only just chat with the LLM, but you're able to build out a whole workflow. And the tool calling feature is an addition to this that really amplifies the capabilities of agents and extends it beyond just being able to chat back and forth, but actually do things. And we'll go into more details about that in the next slide. So as an overview, these tools don't just, they extend what your agent can do. So it's no longer just a matter of chatting with an LLM. You're actually now able to do things with the LLM. So what does this actually mean? Well, your agent is able to understand and incorporate information, but now with tools, you're able to extend that information and actually apply it in the real world with different scenarios. So it allows you to automate different processes, integrate your AI with your existing systems, or develop a whole flow for it specifically. But in essence, it really is about turning your natural language into those actionable workflows. And the tools that are now available and supported in OCI are your SQL tool. So that's all about querying your databases, that structured data, and really making the best use of it. You have your RAG tool. So RAG is what we call the retrieval augmented generation. So you're basically amplifying the capabilities of your agent or your LLM with the knowledge that you already have. So your specific, whether that be your industry knowledge or specific departmental knowledge. The other one is your API tool. As the name suggests, you're able to call external APIs. So not only can you just talk, you can now actually ask the agent to take action on your behalf and call specific APIs. And similarly with the function tool, you can execute custom logic. So you can build out specific flows that you want the agent to trigger at desired points within your chat or within a specific flow. So let's go in a bit deeper into the different tools. So SQL tools, whether you're looking to query your database, this gives you the capability to query large data sets and actually gain insight from them through plain English, so natural language. And the way this works is that as you can see here, this is what it would look like in your OCI console. And you can very simply create that tool, provide the data schema, right? And then it's able to auto-generate those SQL queries using natural language. So as an example of this, if I were to say, if I had a database about my financial records, and I wanted to see, well, show me the top 5 customers by revenue last quarter. It's able to convert that natural language statement into a proper SQL query that's easily accessing your database and getting back that information. So now you're able to use your LLM and your agent to really get those valuable insights very simply from your data set. The other tool, of course, is your retrieval augmented generation tool. So how you incorporate, as I said, your knowledge, your specific industry or departmental knowledge into your LLM so that you're able to get very specific pieces of information that pertain to what you're looking for. So we have within the OCI as well your knowledge base, so you're able to upload your documents. And what the RAG tool does is that it chunks and embeds the documents. In essence, it's splitting up the documents and converting them into a language or an interpretation that the LLM can understand. And then when you ask a question, it's able to generate the answer using both the retrieved text that it's identified relating to your question and also the actual model that the LLM uses. And beyond this as well, you can extend this to certain groups and criteria. So for example, if I have different tiers of employees or different groups of employees, right? Each department can have access to specific pieces of information, and you can adjust this through what we call the metadata for each document so that only certain groups can access specific sets of information. And the example of this, of course, is if I were to ask what's the SLA for support in the vendor contract, it's able to return that relevant clause or text from your knowledge base, and the LLM actually improves that extraction to give you a coherent, full answer. Another tool, of course, is your API tool. So this really extends your LLM's capabilities beyond just a back and forth conversation, but actually into actionable workflows, because it can connect your agent to external systems, whether that be your CRM, a weather API, or even a multitude of APIs. So you can, for example, connect it to your carrier APIs to extract what the delivery costs for specific orders would look like, and so on and so forth. And the whole process for creating this tool is actually very simple. You're only defining your inline endpoint schema, and then the agent maps that question to the API input structure and then calls it. So it uses your response in the overall answer, and then the response that you get from the API is used with the LLM to build a holistic response that suits your needs. And of course, that can be through, for example, if I want to check what the weather is, I can say, get me today's weather in Dubai, and the agent automatically understands that this request should be mapped to an API, and then an API call to the weather service is made, and your response is generated. So lastly, of course, but not least, is the function calling tool. So the function calling tool, in essence, is the ability to integrate your own logic into your agent workflow and sort of business structure, right? So you can incorporate your Python functions and the business logic that you've made to be handled by the agent. And the way that works is that you can define a function name, the description, and the parameters. And based on your definition, right, the agent is able to understand when it's appropriate for this function or this tool to be called. For example, if I were to say, well, generate a QR code for this URL, it understands from my request, right, using the LLM model, that this is mapped to our function call that relates to QR code generation. And it's able to do that mapping and return the results. So that is in essence what the tool calling addition to the AI agents platform looks like. There are a multitude of different scenarios that you can use this, and different cases where you can extend the use cases for tools. And of course it works in different scenarios. And as they say, as cringy as it is, but the sky is the limit when it comes to implementing your tools within your workflow. And then I will hand this over to Matthias, who will show you guys the fun part, the demo.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you for the amazing presentation. So now I will be jumping straight into the presentation. So as mentioned before by Violeta, all of the data presented in this project is entirely synthetic. It has been generated for demonstration purposes only. So first I will be presenting RAG-tool retrieval. We will be retrieving some files. I have created 3 files. For each user on the top right corner, we can see a user. Let's say this is user logged into the system to our chatbot. We have Ansh, Ali, and Matt. So each of the files has a specific metadata added to it, which distinguish between users. So I have my own policy document. I can ask a quick question. What are my working hours? And, oh, my apologies. I can ask the question, what are my working hours? And we will be connecting to our agent. Agent will retrieve this information. As this is a first query, it may take some time to retrieve the information, but we can see response that your working hours are 40 hours a week, with core hours being 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We can go through some parts of the policy document, for example, how many vacation days I have. It should receive amount of vacation days, maybe overall vacation days, as well as how many vacation days I have left. As Ali mentioned before, we can add some logic to it. So for example, I want to request 2 weeks of vacation. Am I eligible for that? So this will add some kind of logic to the agent, and our agent will need to think about some logic behind it. Here I have prompted my agent to provide quite a good answer, explaining every step of the thinking to show you how exactly it thinks. So we can see that it retrieved overall amount of vacation days, how many vacation days I have left. And here on the bottom, we can see some logic that since a week typically consists of 5 working days, then only 10 days from my vacation are needed to actually request. So it says that I am eligible for 2 weeks of vacation, which is amazing. I can ask some more question. For example, let's say or maybe do I have any training that I should complete? This will also check how many trainings I have left in the system. We can connect it to any place in OCI, any kind of storage to retrieve this data. We can see that my trainings are completed, so everything seems to be fine. And it retrieves all of the data that actually we need. We can connect to vector database, to buckets, so possibilities of having storage. This can be actually any storage. Next, I will jump to Ali to show you metadata filtering, how it exactly looks like. On the top, we can see that it retrieved that I have 40 hours per week. Let's see in the case what would happen if Ali was logged in. So I will ask same question, what are my working hours? And we will be retrieving from Ali's policy document, and we can see the difference that Ali working hours are 38 per week, with core hours specified 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we can see that in both cases, document retrieved is different. And to let you know more about how it works in the background, so first there is a prompt that we are putting to our agent, and metadata from our session here, this is user ID, is attached to our query. The system uses this metadata to filter search, and it means that we are limiting amount of files that we are retrieving. We are checking only the files that has a specific user ID, which means from hundreds, thousands of files, we are in this case limited to only few files to search correct results. After that, vector and semantic search happens only inside that filtered scope, and relevant documents are ranked and retrieved. So this is how we can achieve this distinguished difference of multiple files for multiple users. Let's ask about vacations. So here, Ali has less amount of vacations. How many vacation days do I have? And here I will just prepare the second message. I want to request 2 weeks of vacation. Am I eligible for that? So we can see that Ali has 9 days of vacation, which shouldn't let him be eligible for this vacation. And here we can see some logic behind our chat to see how it will actually retrieve the information. So we have all of the logic, all of the thinking of our RAG agent, and on the bottom it says, however, you have only 9 days remaining, which is less than the 10 days you have requesting, then we are not eligible for the holiday. So this AI assistant understands the files, understands the whole logic of our world, how a week works, and is able to provide some of the information. So this kind of scenario can be attached to every file, every folder, everywhere that personalization is needed. This pattern applies. So it can be performance reviews, learning progress reports, financial summaries by department, or manager-specific documents or dashboards. So regarding to managers, Ansh is a manager, and if a manager should be able to access files of different users in his compartments, or maybe some policy documents. So if I am logged in as Ali and I want to ask for someone else's documents, let's say, I want to ask what are Matt's working hours. So I am logged in as Ali, I am asking a question about colleague, and we are receiving answer about the answer. There is no reference about Matt when we are logged in as Ali. Ansh is manager of Ali and Matt. So let's see, I'm now logged in as Ansh and I want to know Matt's working hours. So what are Matt's working hours? We should be able to retrieve the file and retrieve information directly about my working hours. And perfect. Hello, Ansh. According to the employee policy document, Matt's working hours are 40 hours per week. And we also got information about core working hours, Monday through Friday. This is amazing. We have retrieved my working hours. Let's see if we can retrieve Ali's working hours. Later on, we will also ask about vacation with a little twist. Okay, we have retrieved Ali's information 38 hours per week and core hours 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. This is perfect. So we have seen that Ali is missing 1 day of holidays for a 2 weeks vacation, but let's spice it up a little bit with more information, with 1 bank holiday. So let's start in by typing in that Ali has requested vacation. He wants to go on 2 weeks vacation. Is he eligible? We can also now here mention that during his vacation there is 1 bank holiday. And let's see how our AI agent will use this information. Okay, so we have a lot of information that our agent processed. It is step by step providing us information about the holidays. As we can see here, he would need 9 working days off, as the bank holiday would not count as a working day. Agent is providing this amount of information because I prompted, asked him to provide step-by-step thinking in the chat just to show the case about how actually AI agent think with real-life issues or requests. Okay, this is everything for the RAG agent. I will just clean the chat, and now I will be showing you SQL tool. So in the same chat, in the same agent, we can connect multiple tools. and RACTool is one of them, SQL tool is the second one. So we can ask the question, for example, how many suppliers do we have? Most of the time, when we're asking a question to the SQL tool or just a standard SQL prompt, we will be receiving a table as an output. Here we have received human language answer that we have a total of 172 suppliers. If we ask this question in standard SQL format, we would just receive a table, and here we have human language. Let's ask a question, list me top 30 suppliers, which is quite a big number of suppliers. We have received information that data is too big. I mean, 30 suppliers with some additional data is quite a huge amount of information to process, and in this kind of chat would be not visible, so our AI agent is informing us that this kind of information is just too big to process. So let's ask agent if can list maybe top 3 suppliers. Okay, we have received information that the top 3 suppliers on their total invoice amount are EIP, Inc., CDW, and staffing services. So we have correctly retrieved data from our SQL. Let's have some more questions, because we can directly call column names, like I have done here with suppliers. We can also call a specific data in a specific column. So for example, I have a supplier number, and I want to see if it is in our SQL and which supplier has this number. So I can ask a question, which supplier has supplier number 1252? And let's see if it will correctly retrieve this information. Okay, perfect. So Heimat, the supplier with supplier number 1252 is Lee Supplies. So we have received information that there is a supplier with this ID number. Let's ask maybe a little bit more complicated question. How many suppliers has payment term of net 30? Here we can see that there are no suppliers with a payment term of net 30. The count is 0. So we have asked a question, if there is no data, then our SQL agent will provide information that the count is 0, indicating none of the suppliers has this specific payment term. We can also ask some information, more complicated, less complicated, but this is overall how SQL agent, SQL tool works. Next, I want to show you how, for example, API tool works. So the example that I will be showing is Weather API. OCI fully supports Open API format, and in the Open API format, we can just paste in data to our OCI agent and then just call the APIs. So this is what I have done with Weather API. For example, I will ask a question, what's the weather in Tokyo? Next, I want to show about API connections. So one of the API connections that I wanted to show is Weather API. For example, we can ask the question, what's the weather in Tokyo? So this is one of the questions we can ask. API will run in the background, and we can see that it checked the weather in Tokyo. And I can go check Tokyo weather in the web page. We can see that this is 21 degrees. My API refreshes every 1 hour, so this is not very perfect data, but we can connect to any external API that we actually want to retrieve information that is needed. So next, at the end, I want to tell you a little bit about OCI function calling. So function calling, as Ali mentioned, refers to ability of generative AI agents to automatically invoke OCI functions to user queries. This is performed mostly in background. We can create meetings in our calendar. We can return any data from our OCI, or we can even create new object storage or run custom Python code. What we have prepared for you is a live lab, and if I ask a question, generate QR code from this link, and I paste this link, we should be able to, our agent will process this information and convert our query to QR code. So here we can see, you can feel free to scan the QR code, and this should lead you to the live lab that we have prepared. I will give you a few minutes to scan it, test it on your own. And after that, I will be moving directly to the live lab. I will be explaining a little bit about it. So we have our team prepared live lab, and here is a live lab of how to actually create your own agents tools. You can use it on your free trial or actually use our voucher that we are providing to you to actually test all of the function in OCI. The most important part of this lab is actually lab 6, when we are explaining how to create a RAG tool, SQL tool, and as well as custom tools. So here we have a whole setup, step by step, how to create everything that you need, secrets, policies, how to create databases. You have custom code that is ready to copy and paste, so you can just quickly create it on your own. You can test it on Apex or Streamlit. Streamlit is a Python library, and you can directly use one of our own libraries, that is OCI ADK. This is Agent Development Kit. If you want to play with agents, there is instruction on how to install it. All of these links will be provided at the end of the presentation to you via email, or as well in Slack. So we have quick start review of installation, how to do everything in ADK. You can, here sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want with the ADK. You can connect it to Streamlit. In examples, we can see that we have function calling, RAG calling. We can combine multiple tools with one another, as well as combining multiple agents. All of these links has examples to use by you, and thank you for your time. That would be it. Violeta, I'm transferring to you.